What's up, everybody? It's your girl, April. I'm here for another recap of Married at First Sight. We are on episode 7. We are getting there slowly but surely. The couples are moving in together. They are getting acclimated to each other. They're looking at their respective homes that they were living in as single people. So now they are kind of assessing what they did, when they were single, and how they're going to bring everything together once they're married. So I enjoyed this episode. I would rate this episode a 7. Comment down below and let me know what you would rate this Married at First episode. I rated a 7. Somebody may have a different rating. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Um, Turn on a notification so you will be notified of any uploads of content that I do. I'm going to be doing Married to Medicine and Ready to Love. So look out for those coming soon. So yeah, I think and for those who are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I review Married at First Sight, Ready to Love, Married to Medicine. I'm gonna probably throw in some other things. I think I might do Grey's Anatomy. I'm not really sure yet, but we will see. I'm gonna do some topics, some on spirituality, some hot topics and things of that nature. So stay tuned to my channel, subscribe, join the tribe. This is a safe space. So let's get started on the recap of Married at First Sight. Now, I usually break it down by couple, but I'm just going to go in order of how the show went. So Mitch acknowledged Kristen's patience with him. So Mitch, as it starts out with Mitch telling Kristen that he notices that she has been patient with him. So that's a good thing. That Mitch is finally seeing that he's becoming slowly more attracted to his wife, and Kristen is trying to make everything work. She's putting everything on her shoulders, trying to make everything work. Ben says he feels like he's grown as an individual. So so far, Ben thinks he's grown. And he probably has. I think he's learned some lessons. The couples get into their new apartments. Um, Stasha quickly tells Nate once they go into their new apartment, no shoes are in the house, and she says that they need structure. So Nate, don't wear no shoes in the house because Stasha's gonna have a problem with it. Miguel says he usually doesn't like TV in the bedroom um, because he will never leave. I can definitely see that. I don't have a TV in my bedroom now, but I did. And I enjoy having a TV but I noticed that sometimes I barely even watch TV in my room. Very rarely did I watch it. So now that I don't have one, I really don't miss it. Um, Stasha notices that there's only one sink and she needs room for her product. So she says Nate needs to put stuff in the drawer. So they have a little back and forth about that. Um, Sasha says she likes her house clean. Nate says he likes to lay down after the gym, and Stasha becomes concerned. So yeah, Nate, I wouldn't if I'm coming from the gym. I don't think you want to lay your sweaty behind on the bed that you lay in all night. So I'm with Stasha on that. Either take you a shower, do do something like wash off or something. Just don't lay your sweaty behind in the bed. Like that's a little bit too much for me. So yeah, um, Stasha didn't seem to like that at all. Um, Ben and Morgan, they're talking about leaving the toilet seat up, and he says on the honeymoon he left the toilet seat up, but not only did he leave the toilet seat up, but he did not flush, and I got a problem with that. Like, I don't know if y'all have this issue, but I cannot use the bathroom I can't go to the bathroom if there's something in the toilet, whether it's number one, or number two? And y'all know what number one and number two is. Comment down below. If you know what number one and number two is. But yeah, I can't use the bathroom if there's some, I don't care if it's toilet tissue in it. Like I have to flush it before it, goes down. Like it just turns me off. I cannot sit on a toilet that has something already in the toilet bowl. It grosses me out. So yeah, I can't do that, Ben. And I don't care how much money that saves, but you need to flush the toilet. Ben tells Morgan to do her laundry before 4 p.m. and to unplug all the appliances and keep the lights off until after 6 p.m. So from 4 to 6, he said those are peak time. No, 4 to 9, I believe. He said it's peak time to do laundry. So don't do laundry. Try to do your laundry before 4 o'clock. And he says that to unplug when you're not using those appliances, to unplug the appliances. And he doesn't want any lights on in the house until after 6 p.m. because technically in San Diego is light out. So yeah, Ben is very conservative. So far, Morgan doesn't seem to have an issue with it, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I would probably tell Ben, look, I'll pay the electric bill. I just don't want to be policed, honestly. So Mitch and Kristen are getting acclimated together, and Kristen says she's feel optimistic about that because their journey hasn't been perfect. So she likes the fact that their journey hasn't been perfect. Mitch definitely tells Kristen that he doesn't feel the same way he felt a week ago. He sees that they're getting closer. Justin and Alexis, as they walk around their apartment, Justin says he likes the fact that it has high ceilings because, of course, Justin is 6'8" and he needs high ceilings. So, and he says he doesn't have any concerns moving in with Alexis. Stay tuned on that. So Justin and Alexis are excited to bring. My nose is itching. Justin and Alexis are excited to bring the dogs together, but Justin has his concerns. So yeah, that's a little bit of foreshadowing because Justin kept saying he, is concerned about, how the dogs will get along with each other. And so he says that quite frequently. So he's definitely has something in the back of his mind that it may not work. Miguel and Lindy talk about her cat, and he jokes that he's allergic, and Lindy gets concerned. Like she gets really concerned, and then so once she figures out that it's a joke, she's like, oh, you know how Lindy does. Lindy says decision day is a trigger word for her. Because it makes her anxious, and I can definitely see where a decision day will make you anxious a little bit because it's kind of like you're working towards something, like something is coming up and it's like something looming over your head. So I guess if you want to be as present as you can, it would if you're wanting to be present in your marriage, I can see her not wanting that, and that constant decision day will be constantly looming overhead, so it will allow her not to be as present as she would probably normally be. So I can kind of get it, but I think, again, Lindy is an overthinker. I really feel like she needs to do something about her ruminations. She needs to find out ways to soothe herself and get herself from getting so much ruminating thoughts and spinning thoughts and things of that nature. She definitely needs to be doing some grounding or meditation. She needs to do something because she's too much in her head. Like I can't imagine what goes on in her head. Miguel wants to bring up decision day to be realistic. Lindy doesn't want to talk about it at all. So it goes into Stasha wakes up and she finds that the toilet seat is up. So she's kind of annoyed by that, but she's trying to play it cool and hope that this is not going to be a trend. Lindy says that she finds out that she snores, and Miguel was like, "You've been snoring." So she I guess, is becoming aware that she is a snorer. And she feels like she only snores when she's tired, but Miguel begs to differ. I feel like I snore when I'm tired. I know when I was pregnant, I snored a lot, and my husband would say, you were snoring last night. I'm like, I'm baking a whole child. Why wouldn't I be snoring? So yeah, yeah. Sometimes if I am tired, I can wake myself up and oh yeah, you were snoring. So yeah, I get it, but I don't like to snore. Alexis shows Justin her art. Justin goes to Alexis's house, and Alexis shows Justin her art. Justin asks if she would paint him something, and she says, "Yeah, for 50% off. You still got to pay. Like everybody else, you got to pay." So Justin really likes the picture she painted of herself from the back. So it kind of shows her curves and her booty and stuff. So he likes that. He likes that picture. It was a cute picture. Um, Alexis corrects Justin by calling her dog Newton a dog. She said that's her child. So yeah, that this all builds up to something that happens in this episode, because she's Justin is concerned about the dogs meeting. Now Alexis is telling Justin, like, that's not her. Newton is not considered her dog, that's considered her child. So all of this is building up to something more explosive. So Nate goes to Stasha's house. He really likes her kitchen. She has like my nose is itching. He has a big eye. She has a long island, pendants. It's a really, really pretty house. Like that house is gorgeous. Like I wish they would do a whole walkthrough of her house, because I mean, it really doesn't look like anybody lives. It looks like a model home that, you go to see a home that's staged. Um, Stasha stages her bed with decor, and she tells Nate that she wants to bring it into the house. Nate says it's a little feminine, and it's a little feminine. And I feel like, but I think her colors were neutral enough to where she could put some darker colors in it that would bring in some of the masculinity to the house, to their shared home. So I think that she could bring it, but she could probably put a little bit of color contrast, like a little dark, maybe some blacks, maybe some dark blues, to make Nate feel a little bit more comfortable. Sasha tells Nate that he needs to work on leaving the toilet seat up. Nate says in his confessional that he is concerned about messing things up in the house, so he feels like he probably will be walking on eggshells, living with Stasha. So Stasha and Nate get into a big discussion about a he gets in to a big conversation about a $700 Nespresso machine. Stasha and Nate break down the math on the investment, and Nate just doesn't see where it's makes sense for her to buy a $700 machine. However, Stasha did say that she drinks coffee every day. So I feel like with what she makes, I feel like sometimes you need to splurge on yourself. Like, it's certain things I may splurge on that other people may not see the value in it. If she sees the value in it, I think that she should go ahead and splurge on it, in my opinion. Oh, my nose itching. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand that whole conversation. I don't feel like the conversation was warranted, but here we are. Nate calls Stasha a diva in his confessional. He says she's a bit of a diva, but I think she's very independent. So I think it's pretty much warranted for her to be a diva. 1 second. Okay. So Kristen goes to Mitch's house and he shows his electric bike. Now we get to Mitch's shower. Mm-mm. Mitch, oh my God, Mitch's shower is so dirty. He says he waters the plants in there, but it just looked like that shower has never been scrubbed. That shower needs some old school Comet or Ajax and just put it in there and it needs a good scouring. Like it that shower is nasty. I can't even see how anybody would walk in that shower with their bare feet. Like that shower is nasty. Like I if I was Kristen, I don't know if I could have kept a good game face on. I would have made a face. I don't know. I couldn't have did it, but definitely after this whole experiment is over, and if they decide to stay together after this 8 weeks, Kristen, please don't move into Mitch's apartment. And from what she said, I don't think she would. I don't think she ever wants to step foot back up in Mitch's apartment. Like they need to go back to Lindsay and Mark the Shark. They need hazmat suits for Mitch's apartment. Like it was nasty, like nasty, like ugh. So unless Kristen is planning on doing all the cleaning, they definitely need a housekeeper because Mitch is dirty. Mitch, he just doesn't see the value in having housekeeping. Let me just put it like that. Or keeping up with, cleaning things. Like I would call it a bachelor pad, but I don't. Yeah, not. It don't have to be dirty. I mean, I could see it not having essentials in it, but being dirty, borderline filthy. Mm-mm. Yeah, no. So, um, Kristen did say she was getting anxiety from looking at all the stuff. Kristen says she won't do well in a dirty environment. So she doesn't have peace and serenity in that space. And I didn't either watching it. I did not have peace or serenity. Now, Lindy goes to Miguel's apartment. Miguel says he loves to cook. Then he finds Miguel's leftover bacon grease, and she was like, she thought that was horrible. Now, being from the South, I too have leftover bacon grease. I don't use it often, but if I'm making something like, collard greens or something like that, or maybe green beans, I may use it for a little bit of flavoring. And so yeah, I could understand Miguel using bacon grease. Um, is and Lindy said it's not good for the heart, and she is absolutely correct. I don't do it often, but I do it for flavor. Um, Lindy said that she loves that Miguel is organized, and his apartment was definitely very organized. Miguel shows Lindy his Dungeon and Dragon books, and he loves that Lindy accepts his dorkiness. Yeah, because a lot of people probably wouldn't accept that dorky side. Like, a lot of women may not, be as accepting of their husband dressing up like a bear cub and going to a Dungeon and Dragons type party. Like, yeah, I don't know. Miguel puts on his costume for Lindy. Lindy thinks it's cute for right now. I don't know if Lindy will continue to think it's cute. She may. Ben arrives at Morgan's apartment and asks to, he asked if he needs to take his shoes off because that's a Asian custom for him. So Morgan seems like she doesn't care. Like she doesn't seem like she has totally embraced the Asian culture. So she's pretty much like, it's whatever. You don't have to. But Ben, is a little bit more embracing of the Asian culture. So he takes his shoes off. I I'm not Asian, of course, but I don't like shoes in my house either because I believe that shoes, you're walking around in your shoes, you have picked up energy from where you have walked around, and I don't want that energy coming into my house. Also, I don't want the dirt coming into my house. So you have walked around plenty of places and that you have picked up stuff on the bottom of your shoes. Yeah, no. I would prefer you not to walk around my house with shoes on. Um, yeah, it's something that um, everybody pretty much knows. If they come to my house, you take your shoes off. So Ben Ben is looking around. He sees the appliances in Morgan's house. He finds the espresso machine. It was like, this is going to carry some wattage. So you're not bringing that, are you? And she was like, I plan on bringing it. So Ben kind of caved in, but he was like, you need to probably unplug it. I think Ben was okay with it because it's their shared married at first sight at home. So married at first sight is going to pay for all the utilities. So and I think in the grand scheme of things, he's like, I ain't paying for the utilities, so whatever. Um, Morgan shows Ben her back massager. Um, I'm thinking that she uses it for her back. I'm not sure she uses it for anything else, but we're just going to say she uses it for her back. Raises concerns about her cat and where the cat uses the bathroom. He wants to make sure that that cat always goes to the kitty litter box. He was like, it's not going to pee in my clothes and my shoes or anything else because he is familiar with dogs. And he said dogs sometimes end up using the bathroom anywhere. So he wants to know that this cat is going to go in the kitty litter box all the time. So yeah, Morgan thought that was a little bit weird that he was so fixated on that, but I can understand that if you're not familiar with cats. So Kristen and Mitch goes to her house. Um, so immediately they meet Luna, and Luna is her little pug, and Luna has a lot of medical issues. Luna has asthma. Luna can't breathe. You got to put ointment on Luna's little wrinkles. Luna needs a lot of help. She needs a lot of attention. So Mitch says he hopes that he can grow to love Luna. And I think the dog is sweet. The dog didn't, the dog was a little bit, leery of Mitch because he didn't know who Mitch was. But at the same time, he seemed to be open to Mitch as well. So I could see, Luna being okay with Mitch being in this space. So Nate and Stasha go to his apartment. Stasha says Nate's closet, walks around. He shows Stasha the view, and he has a nice view of it, of the city in his apartment. Then as they continue to walk around, they go to the bedroom, and Stasha, lays on the bed, and she looks to, let's say, the left. I think it's to the left, but she looks over and she sees his closet. His closet to me is a little bit bare, and she said it's disorganized and dusty. It had like old towels, on the floor. It was a little dusty. I mean, it was quite empty to me too. I mean, for for someone to be living in an apartment, it just didn't seem lived in. It definitely seemed like somebody was squatting there or something. It just did not have a lot of stuff. It didn't have a lot of clothes. It was just very highly unusual. I mean, unless he's a minimalist and he doesn't have a lot of clothes, but it just kind of was like, it didn't look lived in. Um, Stasha begins to pick apart Nate's apartment. She picks apart his cleaning habits. The cleaning solution is empty. The bottles are empty. She goes to the cabinets. The oatmeal containers are empty. She's finding expired stuff and she's just throwing it around, which you don't go to anybody's apartment and just start throwing stuff around like, what is this? What is that? What is this? I mean, it's a little disrespectful to someone's home. So yeah, I would advise Stasha not to do that again. I felt like she started spiraling out of control because, she likes things in a certain order. So she just kind of like, she just went into a frenzy into his apartment. So as she's doing this, to me, Nate seems like he's kind of in shock that as to what he's seeing. So Alexis goes to Justin's apartment. Justin feels like, Alexis says she feels like marriage is easy so far. Girl, you only 4 days in. Maybe you 6 days in. Girl, marriage ain't for the faint of heart. I'm gonna tell you that. I enjoy being married. I enjoy being married to my husband. It was a great experience. I miss him every day. I wish, we were still. I wish he was here. It was. I really miss him. However, it was work because you're coming together. You have to compromise, and some things you just have to concede. Like okay. I'm just not gonna, that's the battle. That's the hill I'm not gonna die on today. I'm just gonna let you have it. And it's a constant give and take type thing. So she says it's easy so far. So go ahead, Miss Alexis. You must know the formula that no one else knows. Justin shows off his apartment and basically in one swoop. Everything is in, like, you can see everything from the living room. You look to the left, there's the sink, there's the kitchen. You look to the right, there's the bedroom, and then you look a little bit off to the right again, there's a patio. That was pretty much the sum of Justin's apartment. And it wasn't the most clean apartment either. So that was, if you're gonna be in that small of a quarters, I would think you would need to keep it kind of a little bit more organized than he had it. And he has a dog and a cat living with him. So yeah, I think you would need to be a little bit more organized. So Justin again brings up the fact that he's concerned about how his dog will react to Alexis's dog. So the scene cuts to Alexis and Justin bringing their dogs into the new apartment. Maya, who's Justin's dog, doesn't seem to like Newton. Like he immediately, as soon as they meet each other, Maya shows a little bit of aggression where she shows her teeth and she kind of like curls up a little bit towards Newton. That makes me know that maybe Maya is not as socialized as she could be. So Justin keeps her on a leash. Newton is walking around without a leash, trying to get a feel for the new apartment. So, and to get a feel for the Maya and the cat. I think the cat's name is Baloo. So they're trying to see how the dogs are going to react. Let's see. Justin does ask Alexis, is Newton an alpha dog? And because he says Maya is definitely an alpha, and he said usually two alpha dogs don't get along. So when Justin says that Maya is an alpha dog, usually if that's Justin, you should be the alpha in your home, not the dog. So the dog shouldn't be running the home. So that makes me know that maybe Justin doesn't, that Maya isn't as trained as she should be, that he kind of lets Maya do what she wants. So that, again, those are red flags. And Maya attacks Newton and makes Newton's eye bleed. So Newton just starts crying. Alexis picks up Newton like a little baby and trying to console him. And she's calling around. She said, what happened? Justin says nothing. So to me, I feel like Justin said nothing because he didn't know the severity of the injuries. So I think his initial reaction was to lie so that Alexis wouldn't get mad. But Justin, like, that's something how Alexis doesn't even call Newton a dog. She said that's her child. And I feel like because Justin has been questioning or been raising concerns about how these dogs are going to interact with each other more than once throughout this episode makes me feel like he knew that Maya was a little aggressive towards other dogs, especially dogs she doesn't know. So I don't think Justin was as forthcoming as he could be with Alexis because that would have probably made Alexis a little bit more leery to have her dog just walking around this other dog. So I feel like, Maya needs maybe some obedience training and Justin needs to be there with him because I don't think he has put in the work to really train Maya to, and how to react around other dogs. So Alexis takes her dog to an emergency room for dogs to get where Newton had to get stitches put in his eye. Alexis is very upset about her dog, and Justin tries to comfort her, but Alexis is kind of like she's not feeling it right now. She reacted very calmly. She was very calm. So that makes me know how she would react in a stressful situation. She didn't fly off the handle, but because Justin, she feels just is Justin's fault, she definitely gave him the cold shoulder. So it was kind of like, oh no, last week you was in love. Now Justin has crossed a line where his dog has, been aggressive towards your dog, and now you kind of like get off me, So that song, it's a thin line between love and hate. I'm telling you, it's a thin line. I think Alexis is about to fall out of love with Justin. So Pastor Cal does visits the couples. His first stop is to Stasha and Nate. Pastor Cal tells Stasha he noticed that she's smiling more. And so she attributes to, being happy in a relationship with Nate and being, in a great marriage. Nate says, Pastor Cal asks about, what their goals are for marriage. Nate says his goal is to be on the same page and to become a power couple. Nate loves to say power couple, power couple. He wants to be a power couple. I want to know what this power couple looks like for Nate because I don't know. He just says it a lot. So I want to know what does a power couple look? Because like where, it's good to get money with, with your spouse, but also like where is the love? The that type of thing. Like where does love come into the equation? Stasha says her goal is to be financially free and create generational wealth. Again, very surface, has nothing to do with anything about love, nothing deep, nothing emotional. This is all I want to get money, I want to get money, I want to get money. And don't get me wrong, generational wealth is very, very, very important, especially in our community. So I'm on board with that. It's doing generational wealth, but you can do that on your own. You don't really need Nate to do that. So I don't know how that equates to a marriage. So Pastor Cal asked Stasha how she feels about Nate's salary, and she says it's doable. Nate makes, I think he says 150,000. I don't know if I believe it. He might. I mean, he says he does. I mean, I really can't say you lying, but I just don't get that you make $150,000, especially with a man who don't have any clothes in their closet. It just didn't scream to me $150,000. And for a man, someone who makes $150,000 a year, and you are going off about a $700 espresso machine, like I don't know. I don't know. But Nate says he doesn't want kids until he's making like $250,000 annually. He doesn't want to have to worry about anything for his kids. But newsflash, Nate, you can make $250,000 and you can still have issues where you have to worry about something. God forbid your child can have medical issues where you have to pay out a little bit more, or private schools. Just who knows, you might have twins. You just don't know. It's just, and I don't think you can do as much as you can to prepare for kids, but you are never prepared for what may come up with having kids. So you waiting to get $250,000, it sounds like an excuse to me. Stasha says she makes around 415,000, which that doubles what he's looking for. And she was like, so that should make him ready to have a family. Pastor Cal says, don't get concerned about goals before he decides to have a baby. Now, I feel like you shouldn't take having a baby lightly. So if he says that he wants to wait a couple years, Stasha, because of her age, she really doesn't have that luxury, but they need to start thinking about their game plan. Okay, so maybe you need to freeze some of your eggs until I feel like I'm ready to be a father. I don't think that you should just do it because Stasha is at a certain age. I just don't feel like you should do it when you kind of feel. I mean, you're never ready, but you should do it when you feel like, okay, I feel like this is a stable relationship. I see longevity. When you get confident enough in your relationship, you have married someone you don't know, and you are trying to you're ramping up the process on getting to know that person. So yeah, I want to know a little bit more about your core values. I want to know a little bit more about your family, your background. Maybe I need to know about your family health history. It's things that you want to discuss and get to the point, and learn a little bit more about your spouse before you say, hey, yeah, I'm ready to have a baby. So yeah. Stasha says she wants to wait till she's in love with Nate before she um, has sex with him. So yeah, I can understand that. That maybe you want to see a little bit. You feel a more deeper connection with Nate, because she does, talk about that she doesn't feel like she has a deep enough connection with Nate, because he really doesn't talk about his feelings. Like, she knows that his mom wasn't around, like her dad wasn't around, but he doesn't seem to get emotional about it. And when she asks, it's very surface, and she wants to get a little deeper. My advice to Stasha would be to be that soft landing place for him, so when he does get comfortable enough to start talking about those deeper things and his feelings. Keep in mind, Nate was raised by a military man. His dad even said on his wedding day that he don't do emotions. That's what Nate grew up around. He did not have a mother. So you have to be patient with Nate, because just my dad was a military man. And he, me being a girl, he was hard on me about crying, and, like, wipe that up. Come back to me when you're done, with your emotions and stuff, like, and then we could talk. Like, my dad was very much a stickler on that. So if Nate, if Nate's dad did anything like that with him, then yeah, it's probably going to take him a little while to open up and really to express his emotions. But it's going to take some time. So is going to take some time. Even though Nate did get emotional with Stasha's mom when he spoke about his dad's sacrifice, and his mom only seeing his mom one time when he was 12. I think at that time emotions were running high. And maybe he felt more comfortable with Stasha's mom. So I don't know, just a motherly figure. He's talking to a motherly figure about having a boy in his life. So yeah, so I can see. Let's see. let's see where I am. Oh, Alexis shows Newton wearing a cone. I'm not laughing at Newton wearing a cone. Wearing a cone, and Maya has to go to obedience school for 2 weeks. Um, I mean, they really sent Maya to like this. It looked like some type of prison for dogs. They sent Maya there, call her a bad dog, send her to this obedient, supposedly a trainer. And I feel like Justin should be there with the training. So I don't know what kind of training that's going to get done. But it just did. I mean, that whole place where they took Maya looked very sketchy. It looked very sketchy. Married at first sight, y'all could have found somebody that looked a little bit more reputable than where he took Maya, because that place did not look good. It looked sketchy. And poor Newton. He had the little cone on his head. He had the little stitches. I mean, I felt so bad for Newton. So he has to wear the cone for 2 weeks. And then as Justin takes Maya to the prison for dogs, Maya starts to cry and whimper because she's probably never been cooped up like that. So he says he has to think of the possibility that he may have to give up Maya permanently if she doesn't correct these aggressive behaviors. So Miguel comes home with flowers for Lindy. They were nice. They were so pretty. Purple, look like some type of purple roses or something. They cooked together, and Miguel shares that, he was skeptical at the beginning of starting in this experiment. And, so now he's getting to the point where he's really being optimistic about his relationship with Lindy. They decided to change the name for Decision Day to Vow Renewal Day. So that fits with Lindy's soul a little bit better. Lindy says she loves Miguel's transparency and she doesn't have to guess, where he's at. So she loves that about him. Miguel said he wants all of Lindy. Now Miguel comes across to me a little controlling. I don't know. Miguel, I'm waving a yellow flag with Miguel. Like, I got my eye on Miguel. I really do. I have my eye on Miguel. I'm not really sure. I don't know how I feel about Miguel as of yet, but he said he wants all of Lindy. So we'll see. The verdict is still out on that. Pastor Gal speaks to Morgan and Ben, and they tell Pastor Cal about the situation that happened where Ben told Justin that he was concerned that Morgan did not have her bachelor's degree, and she lied to the producers and told them that she did, and blah, blah, blah. So Morgan says she feels backstabbed at the fact that he went to Justin with his concerns, and that the fact that they spoke about finances on the honeymoon, where they said that they wouldn't get into those deep conversations during the honeymoon. They were just wanting to enjoy each other. So Pastor Cal tells Ben to always talk to your wife first, and it was a rookie mistake. It is. Ben, you have never been married before. He seems to be coddled by his mom. So I think that when Ben he heard that she didn't have a bachelor's, that was triggering for him, because I'm pretty sure, because he's an engineer, I'm pretty sure one of the things he said he wanted was someone who probably at least had a bachelor. So hearing that threw him off. So I think he assumed that she really wasn't a nurse. And I think that really just threw him off. So he went and spoke to Justin about it, and he broke Morgan's trust because she didn't want it out. Morgan says she doesn't trust Ben. And then so Pastor Cal was like, what happened to you that, you have this issue with letting people in? So Morgan talks about the issue where her and her father don't get along, and that, she gave him an option of being in her life or not being in her life. And I guess her dad took the option of not being in her life. So I don't really know what it is. She didn't really go into much more detail. Maybe they'll go back, into it throughout the show. But um, if Morgan doesn't get to the root of some of these issues, she's always going. I mean, she's going to be a one and done type person. You do one thing, you're dead to her. But you have to allow people to make mistakes, and you have to learn to work through those mistakes. So she has to learn how to work through those mistakes and get back to where they were. Like what Ben did, like Pastor Cal said, was a rookie mistake, and she's not giving him enough grace to, kind of, move forward in the marriage. So yeah. um Pastor Gal talks to Morgan about exercising forgiveness, and she needs to, learn how to be more forgiving, and not just for forgiveness. I feel it's not for the other person; it's for yourself, to free yourself from that attachment to that issue. When you forgive it and let it go, then that frees you up. Pastor Cal tells her she controls her walls, and if she controls the wall putting it up, she can bring the wall down. So, they say they want to start doing more. Ben says he wants to start doing more PDA. Ben's PDA looked a hot mess. Ben's PDA looked a hot mess. It was kind of like, get him, Tiger. It's like, he like pat her on the back. I'm like, po Ben. Like, I would almost think Ben was a virgin. But so then Nate and Stasha talk to Pastor Cal. And Nate says about Nate not being deep enough. And Nate said he didn't realize he wasn't going deep. Nate says he doesn't have any emotional connection to his mom. Stasha starts questioning if he could even be vulnerable. She asked him to share asked him to share, and he says when he feels a more organic connection, he will share a little bit more. So it goes to Kristen cooking for Mitch. They both feel like it's been an easy process for them, getting into the apartment and just learning each other and being together. So that's been easy for them. Kristen asks if he's ever been in love. He says he doesn't think so. Kristen says she falls in love easily, which makes me understand why she has fallen, kind of really giving herself over to Mitch. And Mitch is really not doing much of anything. So she's really falling for Mitch because she falls hard anyway. Kristen gives Mitch a card, a jar with love coupons, and she tells Mitch that she's ready to take things to the next level. So they take a bath together, they do the do, and Mitch says he's excited about their bath time together. Now, a quick bit of tea. Kristen says she was on the after show with Keisha Knight Pulliam, and she says that Mitch was a quick pumper. Like, she said it was over very quickly. So yeah, I don't think the whole experience with Mitch lived up to Kristen's standards. So yeah. So Pastor Cal visits Lindy and Miguel. Lindy says she wants to see how they resolve conflict. Pastor Cal said, be careful about trying to welcome conflict too early into your marriage. Just enjoy where it is. And that's one of Lindy's issues. She cannot stay present because she's so in her head. Lindy said she was immediately attracted to Miguel. Miguel said he went into saying he would give this about 8 weeks, but Lindy has changed his mind. And Pastor Cal asked what Lindy needs. Lindy says she needs sturdiness, and Miguel basically says he can't be what she's asking him to be, because if he feels like he doesn't have anything left to give the relationship, he'll be emotionally checked out. So Lindy is basically saying that She wants someone who is just there. If you are having issues or if you feeling any type of way about the relationship, don't say nothing. Just keep it moving, work through it. Don't tell me because I'm going to, it's going to make me feel a certain type of way. Just work through the emotions and we should be fine. But Miguel's like, no, I don't work like that. I need to let you know where I am because I'm going to be emotionally checked out. Um, Pastor Cal tells him to re-examine his feelings before he says anything. So he kind of sides with Lindy and say, before you say anything, make sure you examine your feelings. Lindy says, it puts pressure on her, and she started feeling like she's gonna lose him or he's gonna leave her. So it just makes her even more anxious than she already is. So yeah, they have a lot to work through. Pastor Cal visit Mitch and Kristen. Cal says Luna's face is a face that only a mother could love. Those pugs, they are definitely those type of faces. Cal says he's happy that they were mature enough to weather the storm. They tell Pastor Cal that they have consummated the marriage, and they didn't have any plans past the 8 weeks. Like they didn't even have plans over a week. So I believe that it's because the way they started. I think Kristen is kind of like let's just go with the flow and let's just go along to get along. Like let's just not get too far in the weeds. And then, but Mitch also is the type of person who he says he doesn't want that pressure. But you can't just have no vision in your marriage. You need, especially as a man, Mitch, you need to have some type of vision for your marriage. You can't just be out here just willy nilly going through your marriage like that. You need to have some type of vision where you want this marriage to go. Um, but Mitch says he's afraid of not living up to others' expectations, so that's probably the reason why. They Pastor got asked if they talked about finances, and they really hadn't talked about finances, so they whispered to each other what their salaries are. So that and Mitch said he's fine with her making more than him. He's okay with that. And the way Mitch lives, I can see why. He is definitely somebody who is a minimalist. So Pastor Cal challenges them to go a little deeper in their marriage and tells them that love and fear can't exist together in a marriage. So Pastor Cal visits Justin and Alexis. Pastor Cal asks them about the dog situation, and it flashes back 3 days earlier, and Justin and Alexis talk, and he assured her that Newton would be okay. So Alexis says he didn't tell her that Maya had snapped at other dogs before. So Justin says it was because it was irrelevant. Because those times Maya was being antagonized by other dogs. Alexis says that he doesn't always tell the whole story, which makes her want to go to her old ways. Now, what are these old ways? I'm pretty sure it's probably running. Alexis says her heart is in it, but at this point, she doesn't know what to think. Of course, Justin cries, and he said he feels like a crappy owner, and he does have to take some accountability on that, because clearly Maya has not been socialized, and he knew it, and he did not tell Alexis. He wasn't honest with her. Pastor Cal said he doesn't want Justin to beat himself up about it. It was a mistake. And they shouldn't have rigid requirements on each other. Alexis wants Justin to basically overshare, like tell me everything, give me, be very clear. So I think Justin's issue was he has delusions of grandeur. So he had these I think he had in his mind that everything was going to be perfect, perfect, perfect. Everything with Alexis is going to be perfect. But you also have to be, have some stop living in fantasy land and be a realist as well, because you know that your dog hasn't been socialized. He should know. He's been with Maya for since she was 5 weeks old. He knows her cues, and he knows he should have picked up on the fact that Maya was, getting uncomfortable, or getting aggressive, and that he should have, taken Maya out of the situation, or told Alexis to get her dog out of the situation. And I think that he downplays things because he's so scared for Alexis to leave, and Alexis to leave him, that he is not telling her the full scope of everything. So this is definitely a test to their marriage. Excuse me. I would love to see, if they can work through this. But I think now Alexis has her guard up. Even though prior she said she loves this man, and she's fallen in love with him, it's now showing some kinks or chinks in the armor with them, and it would be interesting to see how they work through it. If Justin's he says he's an effective communicator, so he needs to show how effectively he can communicate to his wife. I didn't feel like he was from the beginning, but he says he is, so we're gonna go with that. He needs to learn how to just say what he needs to say, and let Alexis deal with it. And I don't feel like he's gonna give up his dog. He's already told Alexis, like, if it doesn't work, he'll give Maya up, and now he's backpedaling, saying, it's not gonna be that easy. So that's what Alexis is talking about. You talking out of both sides of your mouth, and she don't know what to believe. So Justin has to kind of man up, say what he needs to say, you know. So overall, like I said, it was a good episode. Comment down below, what you think. Justin was right, or you think both of them was, in the wrong, or about Justin and Alexis. How do you feel about the couples and where they are now? For let's get some comments going, so we can talk about and discuss some things, because I feel like it's a lot of good things coming up, good issues coming up. I won't say good, but a lot of issues that could be discussed, that are coming up with these couples. Now they're getting into the meat and potatoes of everything. The honeymoon was, nice, euphoric type situation. Now it's about to get to the nitty gritty. So I'm excited to see where these couples go. So don't forget, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, join the tribe, and subscribe. Again, it's your girl, April. This has been another review or recap of Married at First Sight. We are on episode 7. Stay tuned for Married to Medicine review and Ready to Love. Peace.